Psychotherapist and university instructor Dr. Jindal Kelsey has researched the topic of forgiveness for over 17 years, and in his new book, How to Forgive When You Can't, he explains a groundbreaking new approach that can heal a lifetime of resentment, grudges, regret, guilt, and self-blame. We recently sat down to talk about his new book.
It's hard for people to forgive because there's a lot of social taboos against it. And for good reason sometimes. People think it's turning the other cheek to be hurt again. It's definitely not that. It's also considered letting the other person win. And when you let the other person win, you're not in a good position. But that's not true. Come on. When you're upset, you're angry, you're resentful, and all of that stuff is causing problems in your system, is that winning? I don't think so. That's like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. There's plenty of solid research about the benefits of forgiving. Besides healing relationships, which we've talked about, it increases hopefulness, personal growth, it increases self-confidence, it decreases depression, anger, anxiety, and it improves compassion, even spiritual well-being, and quality of life. There's a lot of misunderstandings about forgiveness that I want to go into. They're basically social taboos that people agree with that aren't necessarily true about forgiveness, but they prevent people from forgiving. I call them the myths of forgiveness. The first myth is people will think I'm weak if I forgive, and I'm not going to win then. Men have this a lot. But the truth is, if you really look at it, if you're carrying anger, resentment, and all the physiological problems that come with that, I don't think you're winning very much. Another myth about forgiveness is the person is no longer around, so I don't need to forgive them. But the situation is, if you're carrying the upset, even if they haven't been around for 50 years, if you're carrying it, it's still affecting you. And sometimes it's affecting you under the surface, making your life ineffective. And you know, if you still think of them and the upset's there, you haven't let it go and it needs forgiving. Some people say, I don't have to forgive because I never want to see the person again. But forgiveness is not reconciliation. If you're holding the upset, it's affecting you, and forgiveness is for you. Reconciliation is about building trust. It's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is just letting go of the upset. Reconciliation is rebuilding trust so that you can have a relationship with the person again. If you don't want to see them, that's your choice. But forgiving, yes, because that's affecting you. The fourth myth about forgiveness is, if I forgive, they'll just hurt me again. And that could be true. But forgiveness is not turning the other cheek to be hurt again. That quote from Jesus was about faith. And just a part of that was about forgiveness. And theologians have been arguing that for 2,000 years, what he meant by that. It's hurt forgiveness. You can forgive and still set limits and take care of yourself. In an abusive relationship, you have to take care of yourself. Don't be hurt again. Forgive and set limits. The other person must learn how to control themselves. It's not your fault when they get upset. That's their problem. Myth 5 is, If I forgive, I'll be condoning the offense. And that's not true. Condoning is accepting. You're not accepting what happened to you. You're letting go of the offense that happened to you. You're not agreeing with it. You're just letting it go. They don't deserve it's another myth. And it's true. They probably don't deserve it. But the forgiveness is for you, not them. So let it go for you. Myth 7 is, before I forgive, I need an apology. That's easy forgiveness. You get an apology. But what if that's never going to come? What if they look at it differently and expect you to apologize to them? You're going to be waiting forever to get that apology, and you're going to be carrying that upset, affecting your whole life negatively. Let it go. The last myth is there's too much to forgive. And that's often true. And that's why the Power Forgiveness process is there to help carry you through even the hardest things by taking bite-sized pieces through a whole process so that you can let go of even the most terrible things. No matter how you've been hurt, there is a way to forgive. Take the next step and read my book, How to Forgive When You Can't.